cells are a little plumper. In contrast to the cells here, which are fusiform in shape, this is now your theca interna. Now, externa. Just to remind you, the externa are just made up of smooth muscle and fibroblast, whereas the interna is the one that produces your estrogen, diba? Siya nagpo-produce ng estrogen. Initially, as androstenedione, which diffuses through the basal lamina to the granulosa cells, which is acted upon by the aromatase here, and is thrown back into the theca interna to become your estrogen. So yan yun, no? Kompleto natin sa, just to look at the complete picture of your endocrine. Now, going back to scanner, I'd just like to identify again your corpus luteum. So, this is one, pero actually degenerating na to kasi meron na siyang mga bilog-bilog. No? That is one of the things I'd like to point out. Pagka meron ng ganyan mga round spaces within, it means it's already on the stage of degeneration. So this is the good one. This is the corpus luteum. I've shown this to you before. So again, please identify the granulosa lutein and the theca lutein. Okay? The last one I'd like to show you is the old ovary. Now, how do you differentiate what we call the corpus albicans? Yan po ang itsura ng corpus albicans. This corpus albicans, it's now scar tissue, it's whitish. Most of the cells are now fibrous. No? Fibers na lang ang nakikita natin dito. So it's now scar tissue, it's whitish in color, kaya nga albicans. Alba means white. Okay? It's now a whitish body. Right? Now, I'd just like to go to your fallopian tube briefly. As described by Dr. Bravo, it's divided into mucosa, your tunica muscularis, and of course your tunica adventitia. Okay? Now, we're not going to ask you to identify the layers of your muscles, except to be eyeball though. What we'd like you to identify further would be your mucosa. Mucosa, of course, is further made up, again, of lining epithelium in your lamina propria. So this is, of course, lamina propria over here. Yung lamina propria natin. What is more important when you speak about the fallopian tube? I noticed, by the way, that the mucosa is thrown into folds. No? I'd like you to study these enfoldings well, because you see enfoldings again when you get to seminal vesicles, baka makamali ninyo. No? You might mistake the seminal vesicle for the fallopian tube, and this is DERSA. And what I'd like you to look at is specifically the epithelium. Epithelium is made up of types of cells. Okay? So this is lamina propria, this is the lining epithelium. The cells are your ordinary columnar, tall columnar, which is ciliated. That is why we say that lining epithelium of fallopian tube is simple columnar ciliated. So these are the cells. In between the cells are not ciliated cells. I just like to look for one. Okay, there you go. It's clearer and larger, and that is what you call your PEG cell. Hindi pig, ha? PEG. Okay? Ano pa tayo? PEG. There's another good PEG cell over there. Okay? So, generally, makikita mo siya medyo parang wala. It's larger with a clearer cytoplasm. Okay? So, briefly, let's go to uterus. The uterus is made up of 3 layers. From in going out, the lumen of the uterus. This is the innermost layer. We call this endometrium. No? The endometrium is made up of two portions. The one iris, no? The muscle layer is called your stratum basalis, no? The basalis. And the one that is sloughed off is your functionalis. No? So usually you can actually see a difference in the coloring. No? So mas puti, parang naghihiwa-hiwalay na, that will be functionalis. Okay? Now these are your glands. No? We call this uterine gland. Okay? So as you get near your menstrual period, it gets more tortuous. Okay? This uterine gland. Now, the next layer, this entire layer from this point to way below, this is now what we call your myometrium. Of course, it's made up of smooth muscle. We're not going to ask you again to identify what is the layer, because they are not distinct from each other. But the outermost layer, again, of course, is tunica serosa. Pero here, no, instead, we call it perimetrium. Serosa kasi meron siyang covering na peritoneum. But, of course, since we say metrium of the uterus, instead we call the outermost layer as perimetrium. Peri meaning around. Okay, so so this is now the layers of your uterus. Madali lang to. The perimetrium, the smooth muscle layer, this one, this is now your myometrium, and of course the innermost layer, this portion, your endometrium, divided into basalis and functionalis. Okay? So we'll just continue next meeting.